Good afternoon, and welcome to South Dakota Basketball Media Day. We are so glad to have all of you back in person this season after a year of all things virtual. Both of these basketball programs found success last season in spite of the tough circumstances. The women qualified for their third straight NCAA tournament, and the men finished runner-up in the Summit League regular season. There are 5 Summit League preseason picks between these two teams. The Coyote women opened the season by hosting Oklahoma on November 9th inside the Sanford Coyote Sports Center, while the USD men kicked things off by hosting Air Force at the Sanford Pentagon on Veterans Day. Now, let's get on to questions. We will begin today with Tassos Kamateros, Cruz Pero Hunt, and Xavier Fuller. Please track down Jason with the microphone for those tuning in online to hear a question.
Tassos, how is the fall camp kind of gone for the team? Are you guys kind of feel like you're gelling pretty well?
Yeah, I think we've been doing a really good job. We started basically on July the practices, and we haven't stopped since then. I think all the players have realized like what we got to do and what we need to improve on throughout all this time, and I think we're getting better and better every day. And at this time, we're at a point that our team looks real good.
And Xavier, how excited are you for that season opener up in Sioux Falls against Air Force, kind of on Veterans Day, kind of a special opportunity for your team?
It's a good one. We're excited for it. Like I said, we ever since the schedules dropped, we're waiting on that game. So we're just taking a game at a time. So like I said, we're ready, we're prepared and stuff like that. So we're okay.
Xavier, what do you like most about this team as you head into the season? Can you kind of give us a rundown of what you think might be your strengths and weaknesses?
Like I said, we all get along with each other. So I think right off the bat, just having a group of guys that you go to war with and stuff like that, I think it makes it easier to play with and just put your mind at calm and just get ready to go battle. So I think the grit that we have on our team right now, I think that's probably what I'm most excited for, to see what we can do.
Now, for any of the three of you, just anybody making an early impression in camp, just that maybe you didn't see coming, or anybody that.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah.
I can't really hear you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Any early impressions from some guys that maybe you didn't expect in camp, just maybe from your individual position groups?
I feel like the whole every player has been doing a great job, like working in the gym, in the weight room, and everything. We have a couple guys that came this year, like Eric, for example, Eric Oliver. He's real good. I feel like he's gonna help the team a lot. And we have the freshmen too. We have like Keaton and Ty. I feel like they're gonna help the team a lot. And in general, like everybody has a role in this team. So I feel we're really good.
And for all three of you, just what are some of the individual strides that you feel like you guys have taken?
Individual strides?
Yeah.
I don't think we really focus on, individually what we want to do or accomplish. I think it's more of as a team, what we want to accomplish as a team. I think we're all getting behind, that we want to win this year, and we want to do things so that we can get there in the process. So yeah, I don't know about individual in terms of accolades and stuff that we want to reach or stuff like that. Might be just some personal stuff on the side, but as a team, I think it's all based on where we want to go as a team. So yeah.
Cruz, you're kind of the veteran now at the guard position. What have you seen out of that group and the growth from the guys like X and Boogie and some of those guys who came in last year and have grown, and some of the new guys that came into the program this year? What do you see out of the guards right now?
Yeah, so obviously we have a few returners that know the system now and are comfortable with how we play, and so I think it's going to be great for the likes of X and Boogie, who just came last year and really stepped up for us last year. I think for our new guys, and Ty, Keaton, Eric, who's coming in, Max, who's going to probably play. I think it's looking good for us. I think we're tall, we're strong. I think we like to compete. And yeah, I'm excited to see how we do.
Xavier, with Stan gone and AJ obviously out with an injury, how have the guards' roles changed, or is it something more similar to what you saw in the Summit League tournament when you already had to adjust without AJ?
I think the biggest thing is just the leadership. You know, like I said, we lost Stan and AJ. I think the biggest thing for us is, like I said, we have guys that are coming back. So I think what changes in the roles are just the guys that are coming back, and the older guys to be leaders to the younger guys, and kind of just lead them to do the right plays and make the right plays and right decisions. So I think the biggest thing is just being leaders. I think that's going to be the biggest jump for a roles this year.
And then Cruz, I mean, those two obviously scored a lot. Now the responsibility is going to be on, you three and others to kind of fill in that production. How do you guys do that?
Yeah, I think we've had a lot of time in mixing up the combinations with individuals and things like that, and I think as a team we can definitely score. It might not be just like last year, Stan and AJ will have the ball and make some miracle play for us when times get tough, but I think this year anybody's able to step up and make those sort of plays, and I think we have faith in the team that anybody can do it. So yeah.
And Tassos, for you, how does it feel to have a player like Hunter back, another taller, longer player that can kind of help, so it's not just you as like that lone big man, like it felt like at times last year.
Yeah, definitely having Hunter back is like really good because like we missed him last year. We didn't have like somebody like him, to get in the game and like fight for every possession basically. And he's obviously like a key factor to the team this year too. So like having him back, as you said, like have another big man that can like go to the old boards, like be physical and compete as hard as he can. Like it's really good for the team overall. Yeah.
And Cruz, with AJ going to be out, with the injury, you're kind of going to take more of the role as like that lead guard. How do you look to try and be a leader on the court, especially on the offensive end, trying to run the offense?
Yeah, I think just being solid. I think we pride ourselves on not turning the ball over, so I think that's a big thing. I think, yeah, as a team, we're going to be fine. We're going to be getting the ball up and getting into our sets, and I think AJ did a great job of it last year, and I think I'm just trying to, step up and vocally lead as well as, lead by example. So that's in practice, starts off with, so yeah, hopefully we'll see if it goes into the games, but I'm sure it will.
This is for anybody. Is there one thing you guys focused on to get better this season? Like any area?
Just defense, really. That's what takes care of the offensively too. So I think our emphasis this year is just defense, and offense will come, and we trust our offense. But I think on the other end of the floor, defensively, that's going to be our main concern. So,
Cruz, what's it going to take that next step up from like second place last year maybe to winning the conference this year? What's it going to take from you guys?
Yeah, I think defensively, like X just said, defensively we got to be solid. I think every year the top two defensive teams at least win the conference, and I think we just need to be up there and yeah, just compete that way, and then on top of that, score the ball, put the ball in the hoop. So yeah.
Is reigning Summit League Coach of the Year, Todd Lee. Coach Lee, the floor is yours.
Okay. Great to see everybody. Tired of the Zoom calls. It's good to see people face to face. Talked to John about that the other day, and dealing with that, and it's been a tough year for everybody. So it is great to see everybody, and great to have everybody here. So thank you for coming out. Our players have been working hard. We've had 16 practices. Our staff has been working hard. We've added a few players, actually 4, but we have a lot of guys back, and people will ask with AJ being out and Stan, who are the new players? Well, we really have a lot of guys back, and we just added 4 players, 2 walk-ons and 2 scholarship players. So it is good to have a number of players back. We only had 1 senior last year, and that was Stan. So we were a young team, and we don't have a senior this year, so we're a young team. But it has been more of a normal summer and fall, so that's been good. It's been real good for the newcomers to get acclimated to everything. We do have a lot of players that are used to winning, and that's good. AJ, Cannon, Brady have been in the program 3 years. Tassos, Cruz, been in the program 3 years. 2 years ago, we won 20 games, finished third with that group that had 5 seniors. Last year, I always say that you need to be older at the mid-major level. You need to have veterans, guys that have been in your program. Last year was a little bit different. We had 11 new guys, 9 players that had never played Division I basketball. And we led the league from start to finish, from the first game until the last game. And, until AJ got hurt, felt like we were going to win the league. Really did. Felt like we had a chance to go to the NCAA tournament. And when you lose your starting point guard right before the league tournament, makes it a little hard. But that goes against a little bit of my philosophy. But what we try to do here is develop players, have guys stay in the program, get better every year, and we have a lot of guys back. So obviously with Stan and AJ being out, that's the most points that a Division I program has lost from 2 guys. So that's a big hole. I think when you talk to our guys, you can see that we're going to be a little bit more balanced this year. I don't want any one player to try to take on that role. Stan averaged 20 points a game. AJ averaged almost 20 points a game. We are going to be a more balanced team. And I think we'll have a number of guys that will score the ball better. They've all gotten better. But we're not going to have 1 or 2 guys just step up and be our main guy. We'll definitely be more balanced. We do have, I know we have a great culture here. We've got great kids. They work hard. We win. We're all about team. We hired 2 new assistants, Eddie Hill, who's been around a lot, been at 5 Division I programs, and he came in here and was here, got hired late, and he was here for a few days, and he's just like, wow, these kids are unbelievable, how hard they work. There's no nonsense. They listen. They look you in the eye. They care about each other. And that's what we've got, and it makes it fun from a coaching standpoint. We got great young men in the program. We talked about developing players. That's our cornerstone, and I think at the mid-major levels, you guys know, if you can keep your players in the system, have them grow in the system, and develop every year, and you get to be older, and that's how you have great teams. And so that's our philosophy. We obviously recruit a lot locally, recruit some internationally, but we want to keep our guys here, and our guys get better every year. And you're going to see that when you see them play this year. The guys that were a little bit more role players last year obviously have to step up from a leadership standpoint. They do have to step up from a scoring standpoint because of who we lost. But you're going to see that they're much better, every one of them. We led the league last year in field goal percentage defense. We're going to have to do that and be even better this year. We're going to have to be the best defensive or best rebounding team in the league, the best defensive team in the league. We're going to have to be the toughest team. Now, the good thing is we've got tough kids. We've got a big team. I think we can do that. And we should be a very good rebounding team. And I think we led the league not only in field goal percentage defense, but defending zone 1. And we'll be better at that this year. I said we added just 4 players. Ty Walker and Graham Kasut those are 2 walk-ons. My philosophy on walk-ons is, as guys that have followed the program, we have 2 of them that earn scholarship: Tassos Kamateros and Damani Hayes. So if you're a walk-on and you can play, you're going to play. If you can beat out somebody, you're going to play. And I think both of them have a chance to be very good players. We added Keaton Kuchar, who's from Mount Vernon, Iowa, freshman. Tough young man, shooter, is going to be a very good player in our program. He can really shoot it. He knows how to play, loves the game, in the gym all the time. And our guys mentioned Eric Oliver, who's a junior college transfer from Laramie County Community College. Eric was a player of the year in high school in Wyoming, and then he was a JC All-American. He's a mature young man. He's got 3 years left. He's probably the newcomer that will make the most impact in our program. He can score the basketball, so that that's going to have an impact in our program. Our leadership will come from our returners. Obviously, we have a number of those, and we talk to our guys. We are a young team. As I said, we have no seniors. Last year, AJ redshirted a year, and then he was one of our leaders, obviously, as a point guard. Stan had been in the program 4 years, and I talked to our guys about, doesn't matter what class you're in, but the guys that have been in our program, you're now the leaders, and there's no senior. Everybody's going to have to step up, and especially the guys that have been here for a few years, and even X has been here 1 year, and I told him, I said, last year, Stan and AJ got a lot of accolades for, obviously they deserved it, scoring the basketball. But we had a number of role players that allowed us to win. And that's Tassos, that's Cruz. X came in, it's very unusual for a young man to come in and take on a defensive role and be the best defender on the team from a junior college. It just doesn't happen very often. And he just bought into defending and winning. And so those guys are going to be our leaders this year. So it is great to have Hunter Goodrick back. He's put on about 20 pounds. He's improved his skill. He's a much more mature young man. He really helped us as a freshman. But now, after not coming back because of COVID, he sat out. As I said, he's shooting the basketball really well. He's a great rebounder, great defender, plays extremely hard, tough young man. I talked to him today, and it's kind of interesting, but he hasn't played a basketball game since we got beat by North Dakota in the Summit League tournament. So he's been sitting out for 2 years. So he's got a little of catching up to do, but he's practicing really well. I get a lot of questions about AJ, how he's doing. He's doing great. He's ahead of schedule. It's a long road back, but he's a tough young man, got great parents, great support system. He's going through, ups and downs, like as you can imagine, coming back from that injury. But he's ahead of schedule. Can't wait to have him back in the program. He'll be back next spring, and hopefully by the summer he'll be 100%. And as I said, we don't have any seniors, so we add him to the group. We have 2 new assistants, Rowan Gentry, who's from Sioux City and was a very good player for Coach Boots here in the program. And he and his wife both went to school here at USD. So great to have another alum on the coaching staff. And he looks at this as he was in Minneapolis coaching. He's back home. He's very excited. Eddie Hill, I talked about earlier. He's been at a number of Division I institutions. He's coached in the EYBL. He's coached professionally. He has a son that has a disability, and that's why he got out of coaching or college coaching. And once his son graduated from high school and got out off to college, his wife said, "You can go coach basketball again." So that's why he's back. But he played at Washington State, was one of the best three-point shooters in the history of that program. He played for Coach Calvin Sampson. Very good teacher, extremely energetic, and is doing a great job for us. So those are our 2 new coaches. So we've got a balanced schedule. We start out, as you guys know, against Air Force on Veterans Day, which is November 11th. It's going to be a 1:30 tip. That'll be a great game up at the Pentagon. And then the next game we go to Drake, top 25 program, went to the NCAA tournament last year. We played them twice, extremely well coached. They'll be favored to win the Missouri Valley this year. They have most everybody back. The good thing is we do get some home games this year in the preseason, non-conference. Last year we didn't get any, weren't able to play. So it's a balanced schedule from games on the road, some tough games at Drake, We go out to San Jose State. We play Coach Miles out there. That'll be a good opportunity. We go down to Nebraska and play them. They'll be improved. Last year we played them in a tough game there. And so I'm looking forward. I feel like we can compete in every one of our games. Summit League this year is really good. Top 14, 15 league in the country. You get down to 12, 10, it's two-bid league. You know, it's close. You know, North Dakota State brings back everybody. South Dakota State brings back everybody. It's such a well-coached league, very skilled. We always are leading the country in three-point field goal percentage, scoring. You know, it's a war every night. Play a lot of close games. I'll say this, you know, Oral Roberts last year finished 4th in our league. They go on to the Sweet 16, had a chance to beat Arkansas, go to the Elite 8. Could have won that one. You know, people ask me who I was cheering for. I was cheering for Oral Roberts. First of all, it's great for the league, for notoriety. Second, it's great for the league financially, so that helps. And I'm sure David Herbster just smiled. So all that is good. I think it's going to continue to keep happening I think mid-majors are going to continue to win. I don't think that's going to be – I think there's teams in our league right now that can go out and beat anybody on the neutral floor. There are not the teams at the Power 5 that are dominant like they used to be, and I think our league will continue to win games in the NCAA tournament. So I was thinking about this. You know, we haven't been here for, you know, a while, and it's a little bit off base, but I do want everybody to know how much I love coaching here. It's my alma mater right here. This is home for me. It means a lot. All my family's in Sioux Falls. I saw Coach Nielsen talk about his parents getting to come to a game. That's a big deal when you get older, and I'm older. You know, my mom's 87. She's not doing great. She gets to come to games when she can. The newspaper people will appreciate this, but I go visit her, and she cuts out everything in the newspaper and prints it out, you know, cuts it out, and she leaves it on the tip. So when I go visit her, we got to go through all the clippings of everything of USD basketball, and anytime my name's mentioned in the paper, like I don't know what's going on. And I'm like, Mom, I know, I've seen, but I've got to, she will not let me leave until I take all these clippings of what's going on. She saves everything. So, you know, it's, all my friends are up there, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, nephews, and Vermilion's a special place. I've got a lot of friends here. 3 years, friendships, it's great. So I love being here. I do appreciate the support I get from our athletic director, David Herbster. He's the one who hired me and been with me since I got here. So with that, I'll answer any questions.
Todd, last year in the non-conference, the team kind of got off to a little bit of a slow start, and you continued to say, this isn't the same team we're going to be at the end of the year. And then we hit Summit League play, and the team started to win and won a lot in Summit League play. What's your philosophy with this team in the non-conference portion of the season as you continue to try to find an identity and get ready for the Summit League?
Well, last year was a little bit different because of we had some issues with COVID. And because we started the year later, we ended up having, I think, 4 home games canceled. And so we didn't get to play those. As I said, we had 11 new guys. 9 had never played Division I basketball. And then we were hit with COVID. And then we go on the road, or we go to Kansas State and open against Colorado, an NCAA tournament team. And then we played Drake, an NCAA tournament team. AJ had just come off 14 days of quarantine, and Brady, same thing. And it was tough. Not the way you wanted to start. So I knew we'd be, you know, much better. Once we got healthy and we were able to practice, once we got into November, we didn't have anybody miss really a practice until Nick got hurt. And so we were able to, string practices together. And I could see that we're going to be, I felt like those first 2 or 3 games, I really felt like we're almost scrimmages, exhibitions. We weren't really ready to play because of COVID and the new guys and things that we've had to deal with, so many missed practices. We went up to the Pentagon and played, the 3 league opponents and could have won all 3. We beat State, but we could have won the other 2. I felt like at that point we're getting a lot better, and then we had Drake again. Once we hit league, we won 9 straight, which has never been done before here. And the 9th game was up at State, and felt like we really hit our stride. And the guys that understand the system by then, and we've had we didn't have one COVID-related issue from November on. Our department and training room and everybody did a great job dealing with it. And so, early you want to be challenged. You want your team to face tough games. You also do want games, you want to play at home and have your fans see your team play. You also want winnable games, if you can get those. So it's kind of a little bit of a mixture. If you can play in a tournament that challenges you, is good. We're in an MT this year, and that's part of the Nebraska thing. But if we can go to a neutral site, which we're going to next year, we're at the Pentagon in that Crossroads Classic. We're there next year. I think that always helps. But you kind of want a mixture of games. But last year was a little bit different.
You mentioned that some of the games felt like scrimmages, and I know you'll be excited to have fans back in the stands because that was part of that. Your team played a lot of road games without fans in the stands. Nebraska, Kansas State, Kansas City, the Pentagon, Western Illinois. Did you notice, even though that was a challenge with no fans, did it allow some of your guys to grow as far as leadership roles and just trying to create the energy that the team needed to try to be successful?
We talked about that. The bench had to create the energy. I will say this. We had a number of teams in our league that wouldn't allow fans, and it was great when we were able to play home games here with our fans because our administration did a great job of allowing limited fans. But this building, you don't need a ton of people in here for it to be loud, and I think they really helped us win some games. But yeah, it was strange because you'd go out and you're at Kansas State playing in a tournament, and normally pretty good crowd, and there's nobody in the stands. It was definitely strange, but yeah, our guys early trying to create energy on the bench, and then once we got in the league, there were places that didn't allow any fans, and so whether that's an advantage, I thought it was an advantage we had fans, that's for sure. So we ended up playing 8 road games in the league and 7 home games. We only had the 1 canceled because of a false positive, but yeah, it was definitely great to have fans here.
Todd, not having to play conference opponents back-to-back nights, I'm just curious your thoughts to going back to a more normal conference schedule.
Well, it's interesting because, somebody told me, or one of my former assistants said, I feel like we prepare our team really well. One of my former assistants said, I wouldn't want to play you with a week to prepare. And we didn't lose. We lost 1 game on Friday, or the first game. We didn't lose 1 first game. So we had other than at North Dakota, so we lost the 1. Every other game, the first game we won. We only lost 4 games. We lost at State, and we lost to North Dakota State here when AJ got hurt. We did lose to North Dakota on that first night. It was interesting because you'd have a whole week to prepare, and I like time to prepare. I take that as a coach anytime. But then the second night, the coaches in the league are so good, you don't want to mix it up too much, but you can't give them the same pitch. You got to give them something different. But then you don't want to confuse your guys, because if you're going to go into the second night, it doesn't even matter. the coaches are so good in our league that if you're going to do the same thing you did the night before, it's not going to work. So you got to figure out different things. I've always played Thursday, Saturday games for the most part, or had a day in between, so it'll feel like normal. That Friday, back-to-back games are tough from a physical standpoint, tough from a getting prepared standpoint. You don't have much time, but I'll say this. I mean, it worked out well for us last year. We should have won the league, I believe. I'm not going to say it, but there's a team up north that only played 4 road games. We played 8. Nothing we could do about that. That's just how it works.
Looking at your guys' size, I mean, you got Nikola and Brady and Tassos, and then you had Hunter back. I mean, that's 4 guys down low that are 6'7" or taller. How much of an advantage will that be? You talk about rebounding, but also scoring offensively to have big post presence to maybe give your shooters some space.
Yeah, we're big. Nick is much improved from last year. Nikola Zizak. He was a freshman last year, but a 20-year-old freshman, and he's gotten a lot better. Hunter Goodrick is improved a lot, and then Tassos has improved a lot, and then Brady Hyman has gotten better. And then you've got Damani Hayes, who plays really well, plays really hard, and can rebound and defend. So we're big inside. That I feel like will be one of our strengths: rebounding the basketball, defending zone 1. We'll be very physical. We're going to have to be the most physical team in the league. And so I look at that as an advantage right now. Depends on if we want to or can play 2 bigs at the same. Back in the day, a lot of people played 2 posts and 3 guards. Now a lot of teams don't even play a post, or they might just have 1 and then 4 guards. There might be nights where we play 2 posts and be big and make teams adjust to us, because we got to figure out our advantage. Last year it was easy to figure out our advantage. AJ was very good once he got acclimated and got going, and then Stan, obviously. So this year, we'll try to figure out from an offensive standpoint where our advantage is. And defensively, I already know what we're going to do, but some nights we may play with 2 posts.
Do you think because of the loss of so much scoring, you might hang your hat on defense a little more this year, or is it going to be, I know you always do, but I mean, is that going to be a big emphasis?
Yeah, I'm going to be like Norman Dale. We're going to have to pass it 6 times before you shoot it. And last year those 2 guys could make a basket, so definitely losing all those points. We have that. I think one of our players talked about it. I think Cruz mentioned it. The teams that have won the league have finished first or second in field goal percentage defense the last 6 years. So we finished first in field goal percentage defense last year, and we ended up finishing second in the league, and we're going to have to be better this year. We're going to have to be the best defensive team in the league, and we're going to have to be the best rebounding team in the league and the toughest physical team in the league. I do know that. We will be a more balanced team scoring, as I talked about. Yes, I definitely think we need to hang our hat more on defense. Last year you could get away with it at times. It's interesting because 2 years ago we had the team with our 5 seniors, and I don't know if you know that Hags got drafted second in the G League, and we were really good offensively. And Hags wasn't the best defender in the gym, but he could score. So sometimes you got to go with your strength. This year it's going to be defense and rebounding.
Now, even with the more balanced scoring approach, do you have an idea who might be able to finish games for you guys on offense?
Finish games or finish?
As in who you want the ball in their hands?
Well, we'll figure that. We're trying to figure that out. Last year was a little more simple, and most years it is. If you don't want to make it too complicated at the end of the clock. Give it to a really good player. Maybe set a ball screen with a bad defender that's involved in it. that is the one question that I'm working on. So who can score at the end of the clock? Our games are usually really close, and in league, I'm talking about in the Summit League, when you play really good teams, those things come down to 1, 2, 3 possessions, and you got to have somebody who can make a basket at the end of the clock. You're exactly right, and if you have a really good player, and that helps when he's a really good free throw shooter, and our guys can shoot free throws, so we're trying to figure that out, what we're going to do at the end of the clock and end of possessions. I think during the possession we have a pretty good feel for that, but the end of the possession one is a question mark.
Outside of Cruz and Tasso, some of those key role players who played a lot of minutes last year, who are some other guys that you're looking to kind of step up and fill in some gaps maybe left by a Stan or an AJ?
Well, as I said, Nikola Zizak has improved a lot, and he's going to be maybe the biggest guy in the league and can really rebound. He's not an offensive, we're not just going to throw him the ball, but he can really rebound, offensive rebound, score around the basket. Eric Oliver, who is the one newcomer that I think will have an immediate impact offensively. He's a talented young man and can really score, and he's a JC All-American. He's smart, really smart kid. Dad's retired Air Force, tough, Mason Archambault has gotten a lot better too, put on some weight, and he'll be better for us this year. Boogie Anderson is better and will help us. Last year he was 52 days of quarantine and never really got going. So I think Cannon Coster's improved a lot, and he will impact and be able to score the basketball for us. And so I think there's a number of guys. Everybody's gotten better, and so those are some of the guys that maybe didn't score as much last year, didn't play as much. X, Cruz, Tassos, there's things we can do with them to they'll improve their scoring. The other guys are newcomers or new that didn't score a lot last year, didn't play a lot, and they're all improved.
And is there something with bringing in guys who have college experience like a Boogie and an X last year, and then bringing in Eric this year? Is there something that you see at the junior college level that you're trying to bring more of those guys in, or is it just the way the cards are falling?
No, we felt very fortunate to get X. He was a JC All-American, and and I knew his coach he's from Phoenix and Scottsdale area, so I knew his coach, and they talked about what a great young man he is, and they actually know his high school coach, who's now the head coach at Northern Arizona. No, we don't recruit a lot of junior college players. We felt like with losing AJ for a year, we felt like we needed to go get a guard, and we did with Eric Oliver. We also felt like we needed a transfer, and we went and got Walt McCrory, which unfortunately ended up where he didn't make it. He's a transfer from Wisconsin who just ended up getting bone cancer, and he's not playing. He's going to be going through 12 months of chemo, and we expected him to play for us, and we felt like that was, 4 years of playing at Wisconsin. AJ out for a year. He has 1 year. It's a perfect fit. He's from Minneapolis, scored a ton of points in high school. We had him and Eric, and we felt, okay, we didn't replace AJ, but we kind of mitigated it a little bit. But no, normally we recruit high school kids, and we want them here in the program. If you have a specific need, then you might go get a JC player, but that's what Eric was. X, we really just couldn't turn down because we felt like he'd be a really good player, and he's going to be. He's got another year left after this year.
And what is the biggest challenge in the Summit League going to be this year for you guys?
I think, the teams that have a lot of guys back, we talked about South Dakota State, North Dakota State, their overall size makes them somewhat different. We're big inside. North Dakota State's big all over. And, South Dakota State has really big guards, big wings. And so I think their size, is different, a little bit different. And just the fact that, they're very good. North Dakota State doesn't outscore you. South Dakota State can. We already know about Oral Roberts and A. Smith and how good he is. It'll be interesting to see how, the effects of O'Banner leaving, because those two guys in the pick and roll were hard to guard. You had to pick your poison. But Oral Roberts would be very good. And so I think it's just a matter of, can we score the basketball efficiently enough? We'll be good defensively. We'll guard. We'll defend that way. We'll rebound. But we've got to be able to score the ball. And maybe, as he talked about, end the clock situations.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Coach Lee.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.